Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So it's my final look. Alhamdulillah, got my scarf on and everything. Husband's son's just tripped over the stairs and my husband's gone to work there. And I took off the stand and this angle is better. Angle is everything, you know. So anyway, so my next segment, my topic of conversation today is we get questions a lot when we work with when I was working with a lot of families as my role as Senko. A lot around the area of my focus and my study was social, emotional, and mental health, which is SEMH, and that was trying to put things in place for children who had social, emotional, mental health, and what sort of things we can do. And there's a lot talking with parents and everything, and you know what, you use your own things and whatever that you come across, your own experiences, to help parents. And these are most of the parents actually from the Asian community and the Black African community as well, because kind of, to be quite honest, we share similar thoughts about how we raise our children and what we want them to achieve in our lives, and come from that, you know, that strict background where, you know, I'm sorry, but I'm the parent here. I'm the vessel in which you're going to be guided, and we're going to mold you, and this is what you're going to be. Obviously, taking into consideration what the child wants and everything like that. And that's very different from children that, you know, are left to just rule the roost and whatever, what you see on Super Nanny. How many children you see on Super Nanny are Asians or from the Black African community? Not a lot, actually, yeah. But then there's a difference between child abuse and coming from an abusive relationship, whether it is physical or neglect or social and emotional abuse. I can't hold my camera that long. I keep changing positions. So I know I come from a huge family, and when you have a huge family, there is a lot of issues that you have, a lot of misunderstandings that you have, a lot of people not going to get on with each other, and so on and so forth. And then we learn very quickly the middle child syndrome, and I'm a middle child in terms of the girls, and my brother is a middle child in terms of the boys. And my brother and I always gravitated towards each other because we all came like, well, nobody loves us, nobody cares about us, and that sort of stuff. And you have this, I think it's embedded in you. You have this, you can, I can't keep my arms up that high. You can sink or you swim. And I've always been that sort of person that I don't know where I get it from, to be quite honest, that I don't, sinking is never an option for me, and I can't swim anyway. And we've both come out in a very, very different ways. I've accepted what I am like and what I have going on, and you know that, yeah, maybe I'm different, maybe I'm not going to get on with people, and I don't care what you say. Whereas there might be other people in my family who the whole lives evolve around what other people say. And then this comes back down to your education. It comes down to your frame of mind. And I say education in terms of your deen, your religion, and whether you're a Muslim or not. And obviously, I'm going to talk Islamically. So like I spoke to you yesterday, and I'm glad it's just reaffirmed. All my little bits have fallen off from my scarf. What I said Islamically yesterday about the don't be sad, and I'm glad because it reaffirmed quite a lot of things, principles that I uphold, and I don't know where I get them from, but anyway, I did. Was the fact that if I spent all my life worrying about what people think about me, I'm not going to get where I am now. And I haven't got where I am now if I carried on thinking about what people think about me. And I think it is very difficult because it depends on your family. But there's no one more strict than my parents, then maybe the strictness that my siblings have with their children. So nobody's as strict. I remember, this conversation that if you're not going to sort yourself out, then we're going to go and get you married. And I know, like my nieces, my sister-in-law's sisters at that time, they literally were drugged, put in a wheelchair and taken to Pakistan and got married. They actually were drugged on the day of the nikah. And in hindsight, they're all divorced on those. Actually, no, not one isn't. But the other one was divorced. It traumatized her. Do you know what I mean? And rightly so, yeah. But we grew up with that fear. We did. And I have 3 older brothers. But then we grew up like friends rather than siblings, and so we had a really lovely childhood. I think I did anyway. In fact, I was a very depressed child, but if I look back, we had an amazing childhood. I think I was really depressed because I never fitted in with anyone, and I never knew why. And I spent quite a long time thinking about why people are like that towards me. As I got older, I realized I was destined to go and marry Pakistan, and then my dad wanted me to be in a certain way, and so on and so forth. And I do have a sibling that was taken to Pakistan and got married, and she had a rough ride, but it depends how you deal with it, and that's what I've always said. Dealing with your grief is not by attaching blame on other people. It's not about having hasad of what other people have over what you have, and so on. Time changes, people change, your outlook, what you learn and you experience change, and therefore you try not make that. You try to learn from those mistakes so you don't impact somebody else by ignoring what you've learned and make the same mistakes again. So my father didn't want to ask my sister and I to go through the same things that my elder one did. So, by the time we got to us, things were more liberal, I guess, in that respect. So it wasn't because one loved more than the other. It's more somewhat dad or mum or whatever had more of a understanding that we are from here and we're never going to be accepted there. As opposed when they first came here, they didn't have that thoughts and understanding. So it depends. You have to be open to face your own demons, and it's very difficult when you've suffered, and whether it's physical and mental torture is the worst torture. It leaves no scars or anything like that. Physical scars, it's the worst sort of torture, and it can take your whole lifetime. So sometimes when I have issues or I have issues with my elder sibling, I actually say, subhanallah, it is because of what she went through, And I don't know if anyone's actually invested that time in terms of counselling or anything like that. And I know that I haven't, because I can't be dealing with gutter mouth and people politics and stuff, because you can't help somebody while someone's there to try to stab you and bring you down, because it's going to F you up in the head. And I'm not strong enough in that way. And I don't have time. There's certain people you just say that, what, only God can help you, because trust me, that's the only thing that can help you. And then you've got to just move away, and in terms of self-preservation. And that's another thing. You have to have self-preservation. You may love your family, you may love this, you may love that, love that person. But if you are in a toxic relationship, and whether it's with your siblings or your family members or your partner, you've got to make, at some point in your life you'll make, and Women Who Snap, which is a crime series, women who snap will kill their husbands. Why do they do that? You know what I mean? It just gets to a point where you think it's what people perceive you as, it's what people who judge you as, like in Jorel, when she does what she does to her husband and she's imprisoned and a child gets taken away, and then they find out obviously she's killed in that and used and abused and whatever, but they marginalize her because they don't understand the plight that she was in, because what she did to her husband, he used to rape her, he used to beat her, and she was like a 15-year-old when she got married. And this is, it's fictitious, but this is based, every fiction, and that's why I'm glad I'm a teacher, every fictitious story that we read, where it's a fairy tale, whereas any other novel, is based on someone's reality that has been warped, manipulated, added a bit more creativity, a bit more imagination, that it takes you away from the actual reality, so nobody can actually associate it with that. So it is part of a reality. And when you get married, this is one of the reasons I was actually pretty emotional in one of my videos about women should marry who they choose. It shouldn't just be women, it's obviously men as well, because you, on the day of the nikah, you should say, yes, I agree or I don't agree. You shouldn't be pinched or whatever, or drugged, because that hasn't been consented, choosing the right of companions, versus choosing the best of companions as well. Do you know what I mean? So this girl was married when she was 15 to someone who was 35, and obviously men want a virgin, men want young children because it's trophy, she's fresh meat and all that sort of stuff, but he sexually abused her, simple as. She was frightened, she didn't know anything. she had this child, and she did want him near her, and it came to a point where he goes, well, you're not satisfying me, so I'm glad that God has given me a daughter. And then she protected her daughter. I like my eyeshadow, by the way. I cut my cut crease. But anyway, she got the iron, and she kind of sizzled his little dingle, and then just done what she had to do with the iron on his head. But people forget the reason but what was the reason behind it? I'm not saying you go and you kill, blah, blah, blah. But what I'm saying, like suicide, like these sort of steps people take, there are reasons for it. And this is why people like us who are trained professions, I work with children, and because I work with children, I obviously work with the parents. There are safeguarding. I used to be a safeguarding designated officer, so I kind of know my safeguarding. But you have people work with safeguarding, work closely with the family. You have family worker. You have such a huge multi-agency team, huge amount of stakeholders that you work with to protect children or protect someone in that area of whoever needs that protection. And then when you peel the layers, then you realize actually this is going on for something that the parent was embedded with, parent had when they were children, but not a lot of people invest in that time. And we think about in this country, we have all of this, but what about places like Pakistan or India or Bangladesh or indeed Africa? No. And this is where I want to work. This is the field that I want to get to, and I just don't know how I'm supposed to approach it. To not empower women, but to educate, whether it's men or women. I mean, I love to go on stage and talk to a whole group of men, inshallah. So I don't know how I'm supposed to do that. So the topic of conversation was actually a big shout out to people who've been there for me through my mental health ride, and I've had depression from since I was a child, so I know that much. There are different stages of depression, there are different types of depression, there are different reasons for depression, there are different avenues for different depression, there's different way you exhibit your depression, there's different ways that you can get support for your depression. I love my eyes today. Anyway, I keep catching my eyes. And this is a form of me trying to, just distract myself from everything else and then, focus on things that make me happy. And this is what we're trying to educate people, that do what makes you happy. You don't have to go clubbing. You don't have to go drinking. You don't have to go gallivanting. You don't have to have affairs. You don't have to go strip in front of a camera, vid camera. You don't have to do sex talking, whatever. Because that's what people do. But what you do when you follow a negative with a negative, you get negative, But if you build your own self up, and it's like what Keanu Reeves said one of his quotes where, I'm not going to say it verbatim, but, he goes, you've got to love yourself. You've got to be happy to spend time with yourself. And the only person who can give you happiness is yourself. And if you can spend that time being happy by yourself, doing things that you like to do for yourself, making yourself, appreciating yourself, then you can have a lot of people around you. You might not have anyone around you. Makes no difference because you're in love with yourself. It's called self-preservation. And that is so true. That is so true, okay? And surrounding yourself with people that are just as positive or who love you. And they might not be positive. I have people, lots of people that in my group that I'm very close to. Actually, have manic depressives. And therefore we are kind of very close because we can share our experiences. They help me through what they've done that helped them, and I help them from what I know about it. And they range from people who are poor to the rich to people who've got jobs and who are unemployed or whatever, the idea is that you have people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made you close. And then it comes to the point again what I was trying to make, that you are attracted to certain people. I'm not talking about sexually. You're attracted to certain people. You know certain people and you befriend them straight away. They could be your family. It could be someone completely I feel like I've known you forever. Why? Because our souls were created either the same time, same place, and your souls were very close by. The ones that you just have an immediate connection, you don't know, oh my God, where did you come from? And what I have that with a particular person. Oh my God, the hell, did you come into my life? I mean, I would have never befriended someone like that or whatever. And it is because that person was probably very close, standing very close to you when you were created. And there's certain people in your family, I'm talking about family now, that you just don't get on with. Yeah, it's nothing to do with anything else. It's just basically down to the fact that when your souls were created, you weren't even around, so you don't have that connection. And when you understand that hikmah and that understanding, it's not because of hatred, it's just that you don't have connection because you just weren't there. And when you have that knowledge, then you understand why certain people click and some people don't. It's not because I don't like you and I don't like you, it's just I just there is a natural connection, it's a natural pull or attraction or whatever, like a magnet, and you attract with when each other, and when you have a strong magnet, it will attract a lot, and there was a big magnet, but it will still have some sort of attraction. But if you've got the same poles, it repels, right? And no matter how much you're trying to put the two magnets together, the same pole, it will force itself out. So that's a bit of science there as well. So it's not a personal thing, and for me, in terms of what we've gone through as a family, I would say that my eldest brother and my eldest sister and my niece have been, in terms of family members, have been, and it's my sister's children, have been, oh, and my brother who passed away and his family, have been the centre of I think my existence anyway, and I owe them my sanity, to be quite honest, because my sister we were never close growing up, and it's situations that you are forced into that they're there for, we say bahana, for a reason. I was never close to my parents, to be quite honest, growing up, and people that I'm more close to now, apart from Bano, I would have never been close to those people before. I don't think I would have, but the people I was very close to, I'm not, because a friend in need is a friend indeed. So people who are not there for your thick and thin, they can just take the back door or middle finger and go and F themselves somewhere else, because if you can't be there for us when we need you, I need you when I'm happy or successful, when I'm celebrating. I need you in my life. And that is a decision that you have to make. It's called self-preservation. So my elder brother, my elder sister and her children, and my brother who passed away, and his children, mashallah, we were in a situation where our prime focus was our mum. We didn't want to get involved in politics. He said, she said, who said, whatever said. We didn't. And those people who were involved in politics found themselves on a completely wrong team. And that's it. You segregated yourself and you just ostracized yourself. You can blame us for everything, but we know what the reality is. And we have formed, we formed that, bond for my mum, that fortress, that support, that backbone, whatever you want to call it, And since my mum's demise, we were all still very close, because although we say we're close, we don't really see each other that much or talk too much as we used to, obviously. But we've got each other's back, we all check in on each other and things like that. And, I know they've left me alone because they know that I went, someone like me who's, who hasn't seen this sort of stuff, and they know I went through a huge breakdown after dad, but having to go through that with my mum and being by myself and all that stuff. I mean, I won't cry in front of my brother won't cry in front of me, and it's just two of us there, and my brother, the other brother, he died of a broken heart. I mean, he cried and he cried and he cried and he cried, and he didn't want to treat himself, and then he passed away shy of 3 months after my mum, at the age of 55. And one of his sons, my nephew, who we were very close to, again, because they have that connection with you. They had that, that thing that they that mutual ground or respect or whatever, which was my mum. The love for her, the love for my father, and those sort of examples, and all that sort of stuff. And when you have that mutual respect and mutual love and whatever, that mutual ground or common ground, that binds you together. That binds you together for the rest of your life. And when my niece was there to help me cook for my dad's stuff, And she was there when I was crying through, you know, everything, and we picked each other up and we would go shopping, and we spent, oh my god, amount of money that we spent, and going to the concert with me, my first, because I started having a bucket list, and my first concert was Rahat Fateh Ali Khan, and just going out and having that connection. And I'm just so proud that people, you have so many people in your life that will do everything to put you down, and put each other down. And I've always been one of those people who've always supported, because I've never been supported, I've been the invisible one. And I don't like people who've got airs and graces, or I'm good looking and I'm like this, and I'm going to put someone else on because they wear glasses, or someone else on because this, or someone else. No, khubsurati. You know what? Good looks don't last forever. Good looks don't last forever. And I've seen the way, you know, my niece has blossomed. I've seen the way, you know, mashallah, she's very fit now. And she was a gorgeous child, and we all went through this, I think, you know, a time in our life that we've just been left, right and centre. And now, do you know what, we've all got a positive outlook. You know, my brother's a bit free. He's, I think, hopefully he's coming over. I mean, he's grief stricken. I mean, there's nothing that I can say or do or anything, and to help him and suggest what he can do, because we grieve in company. Everyone grieves differently, and I think it will take him a long time to get over all this trauma. But we were sticking together. And even my sister, you know, she used to, all her life, she used to call my mama at a certain time, whatever. And you know, it's impacted all of us, but it's how you deal with it that is the most important, and the people that you choose to be around. No matter what situation you're in, the only person who can help you is yourself. Self-preservation is the biggest key to come out of depression. And the way to come out of depression is understanding your depression, understanding who are the toxic people who are around you, who, not the cause of your depression, but who are feasting on that, who are glorifying that, who are gaining some sort of satisfaction from your depression, and who do nothing to help you fight your depression, but help you to actually kick you while you're low. Those sort of toxic people you need out of your life straight away. It might be 3, 4, 5 years, it might be a couple of days, but until you're better. But whilst they're in your life, you will never get out of it. So the first rule of thumb is identifying what is it making you feel the way you are, and what steps you can take to get you out of it. Getting rid of toxic people, toxic relationships, because they're not helpful for you. It's self-preservation. You got to do what makes you happy. Third thing is doing what makes you happy. It's actually diverting your mind. And you know, like I went into TikTok straight away. I was singing and I was dancing. This is like 10 days after my mum died, and people was like, oh my god, what's wrong with her? And I was having a huge breakdown. And when I stopped, I would cry and I would wail. I would see my mum's face. I would see my mum's, and you know, like the things that we used to do together. And I'll phone up my nephew, goes, I need to get out of here, I need to get out of here, I need to get out. And I'll be screaming on the phone, and I'll be running down the stairs, and he'll end up picking me up from where I ended up. But then, you know, like my friends would say, look, you know what? And then my brother said, you know, you just need to let her do what she needs to do. And so my brother, you know, allowed me to go out to just chill out wherever I used to go to chill out. And that let me to meet different lots of people, because I used to go there all the time. People got to know me, and I don't know why I'm just sitting there crying, you know, and so on and so forth, because you have to deal with that emotion. So my mind was completely diverted to other things. I threw myself into I think this thing that you know what, these are the people I want to have in my life, and I want to be like this, and I want to be like this, I want to be like this. These are the people I want to be around, and I have to be around them. They were like something that I was just holding on to. My life here meant nothing. My marriage meant nothing. My husband meant nothing. My job meant nothing. My job was a means to an end, because that is what I was. It's like a narcotic. That's what I needed to get out of this. This is what I need. I just needed to be there. I needed to be there. This coronavirus or this COVID-19 situation, this lockdown, actually allowed me to face a lot of my issues and my demons and my relationships and stuff. And I've tried to reach out or whatever, and obviously egos with people. And I thought, that's the reason I didn't talk to you, but I'm glad I tried, because now I know I'm not gonna now. You go through these trials and tribulations, and you try and you fail, and you try and you fail, and you think, at least I've tried, and you hold on to what is dear to you. So I have a bucket list what I tick through, what I want to do, what are things I want to do, things I want to do with my child, things I want to do with my husband, things I want to do by myself, and I'm working through that. And since I've got that, I'm a lot happier. So investing in things that you like to do. And the other thing is, I would say, as a Muslim, yes, my iman has suffered a lot, and yes, I've stopped wearing a jilbab, and oh my God, I haven't prayed for a long time. I'm starting to read my Islamic books again, and I was reading that book, Don't Be Sad. It has really elevated me, really has put me back on the path. All I need to do is start to pray again, which inshallah, by the qadr of Allah, I will tomorrow. We're fasting for the next 3 days for Muharram, the last 10 days, last 3 days of Ashura. So we're going to be, the Ashura, which we're going to pray for, and we're going to, fast. I don't know nothing about it. I always said it was more to do with Shias, and I never wanted to know about that sort of part of it, because I didn't want to get involved, because again, when it comes to that sort of part of it all, I just don't know about it, and I don't want to be suckered into something that I don't know. But I'm learning. I am learning. I've got my goals on going to Pakistan, and meeting the people that I just need to be. You can get that that fix from. So you have to, those are the steps that you need to take. And once you've found yourself, and once you on that road to recovery, slowly but surely, those toxic people can start entering your life. And you are the one who chooses who comes back in your life. And you're the one who can close the door on their face and say, I don't think so somehow. Someone said to me, I don't need to, safai mein Allah ko dum tumhe safai dene ki zarurat nahi hai. I don't need to explain myself to you. I explain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's just, he can see everything. And that's how I feel. People can say a lot of things. You know what? Suck it up, buttercup, as my son would say, because I'm answerable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I used to be answerable to my mum and dad. That was it. Okay, I'm not even answerable to my husband, which Islamically I should be, but I'm not. I'm answerable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now, and that's it. And I thought I'll share that because I feel I need to say thank you, Bano. I really love you, and you're our first baby in our family, someone that Abba was very proud of, someone Amma absolutely loved, and you have been my dad's even dad said, for someone like yourself to get married back home and whatever, and never did anything wrong, mashallah. He was so proud of you, proud of his own real granddaughters and stuff like that. You've always been in parda, you've never wore revealing clothes, you've never showed your arms, you've and all that sort of stuff, mashallah. And you did what you wanted to do, you thought you had to do for your dad and for for Nani. So, you are someone that we all, are besotted over, and we always will be. And it is because you were brought up that way, no matter what, you were brought up that way, and from your father and your mother, and the way you brought up your children, mashallah, it's because you have the understanding of Islam, you have the understanding that you're Baloch, you have the understanding that who Nani and Abba were, what their principles were, what they what they used to think about their daughters and the girls in their family, and what they wanted, and when you don't have that, you do all the things that everyone does. And so I know that I'm proud, and as an auntie I'm very proud, and I've always wanted a daughter like you, and I'm glad I don't have a daughter, but I'm really glad that I have a daughter like you. And out of all the people that I kind of like, I'll say, yeah, I've raised my niece, read my niece, you're the only one that I feel proud of, that mashallah. And like mum, she has 12 children, and there's only 4 of them have actually pulled through. So out of all my nieces and nephews, alhamdulillah, I have my head up high. I really do, and it's credit to your mum, credit to your dad, and most important, credit to Nani. And Nani's credit goes to Abba, because Abba, the way he was, that determined how Nani was, and how Nani was determined how your mum was, and how your upbringing was. And the fact that you stood by us the way you have for Nani and us taken to Pakistan and all that sort of stuff shows that. It shows that. And that's why you're, no matter what's happening in your situation, you are always coming out smiling, and you'll always be successful. And I'm proud to have someone in my corner who I can put my head up and say, I do love you. And this is not something to show other people, but this is my appreciation from an auntie to you. But I'm not an auntie. We're like sisters and friends, so I love you so much. This was for you.